Good morning and welcome on this sunny February morning to First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor. Please rise as you are able in body or spirit and join us as we begin the service singing hymn number 131 in the gray hymnal, Love Will Guide Us. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us, will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Good morning. Welcome to UUAA, beloved. Whether you are with us in... Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to UUAA, beloveds. Whether you are with us in person or joining us online, now or at a later time, we welcome you. My name is Joe Libin. I am a member of the Board of Trustees and a member of the Lay Worship Leaders Program. Joining us today in the service are Reverend Manish Mishra-Marzetti, our Senior Minister, Stella Anderson, our Director of Spiritual Growth and Development, Allison Halerz, our Pianist-in-Residence, and Mike Halerz, our Technology Consultant. In addition, we are so blessed to have Matt, Adele, and Adele McCleskey as special musical guests this morning. We extend a heartfelt welcome to our newcomers or any first-time visitors who may be here this morning. Thank you for your presence with us. If you're here in person, we invite you to join us for our newcomers welcome held in the Jackson Chapel immediately after the service. As you leave the sanctuary, the chapel is the second door to the right. There you'll find volunteers from our community and staff waiting to greet you and share more with you about our Unitarian Universalism and this community. If you're a newcomer live streaming with us, we invite you to please introduce yourself in the chat, your name and where you are joining us from, so that others in our community can warmly greet you. And for those newcomers watching later on demand, you can learn more about our community on our website at uuaa.org. And should you wish, you can help us learn more about you by filling out our newcomer survey found on that site. As we gather today, I invite you to pause a moment and reflect on the ways through which we give and receive love in all its manifestations. Here in our congregation, I wonder, what are the ways you feel that sense of loving and being loved? In what ways do you show your love? Is it in the covenantal relationships that we nurture? Is love being planted in the garden, organized in the office, nurtured in the nursery, cooked in the kitchen, harmonized from the choir loft, augmented online? Is love in the heartfelt hug, the gestures of compassion and kindness, the ways in which we are so welcoming? Is love alive in the way we hold each other's joys and sorrows? Is love in charge in the ways we plan for the future and honor the past? Now, as we continue moving more deeply into our time together today, I'd invite you to find a place of stillness and grounding in your hearts as I share with you a centering poem entitled A Love Poem for Love, written by myself. How do I love thee, love? Let me count the ways. In all the subtle ways you've transformed my heart, I am uplifted, made replete, adored. Oh, love, how you fill me with a balloon-like longing to soar. I love you. I'll just come right out and say it. I love love in all its infinite forms. I love new love, effervescent with possibility, propelled as if by a hand unseen, unfurling as delicately as any rose could smell, as sweet as that which meets the dawn of new lovers' eyes. Radiant, aglow, illuminated by the aura reverberations. I love old love, steadfast love, the kind that's weathered lifetimes of ebbs and flows, old pickup right where you left off, love, laughing with beloveds over dinner, adventuring anew, braiding new memories to that old chord that strums with a heartfelt, homemade sound. I love queer love, rewriting the family structure love, the nod in passing love, the pride parade love, the I don't know you but I'll throw down for you love, lesbians nursing their brothers dying of AIDS love, act up kind of love, tending to each other as only we can kind of love, rainbow love. I love love that shows up in the worst of times to share the burden, lighten the load, hold hands, give hugs, make casserole kind of love. Love that asks for nothing, love that fulfills, love that does no harm, love that's got your back, love that stands up for what is right, love that affirms. I love the love that heals, love leveled on trust, love whose gentle touch soothes the ache and calms the spirit. For love does not dwell in scarcity or fear. After all, joy was not meant to be a crumb. I wish love in abundance for all who wish to receive it.
Thank you, Joe. What a gift to have your original writing and share that with us today. Thank you for that. Good morning. As we gather this Sunday, thousands of Unitarian Universalists across the continent engage in the ritual of lighting a chalice, a flame that can represent the spark of wisdom, that spark of caring, compassion, love in our own hearts that is always kindled and brought to life when we are together in community in service to one another and the wider world around us. In just a moment, I'll invite those that are gathered online at home to please join us as well. You can light a chalice in your own home, living room, wherever you might be, and go ahead and share in the chat. The chalice is lit wherever you may be. With us in person in the sanctuary this morning, I'll invite Arthur Verhoot and Enrique Floresbos, who will be lighting our chalice. Please join me in the chancel. And family, I should say. And Arthur, Enrique, and family are currently still without power, as are other members in our community, as are staff members. So let's join together. We're giving them a little bit of light here this morning, which they don't have in their home, but also love, during what's been a bit of a tough week for many of us. Let's join our hearts as well as our voices as we say the words of our chalice lighting. We light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for the harmony of peace. Thank you so much. We are also a community that is not bound together by required beliefs. We are not required to or expected to think alike, but we do covenant Sunday after Sunday to companion one another in our own journey, our own unfolding journey of what it means to be human, the exploration, the learning, and growth that happens for each of us individually. As we do all of that, we are supported by one another, cared for by one another, and held up by one another. Would you now join your voices and hearts once again as we say the words of our community's covenant? The spirit of this church is love, and service is its law. This is our covenant with each other, to dwell together in peace, to search for truth in love, and to help one another. We are gathered for worship.
One, two, one, two.
Don't forget love. 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 When you're angry and you're lashing out, don't forget love. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't forget love. When the wind blows through the crime scene and the TV man starts talking fast, don't forget love. 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 When you got no one you can confide in, don't forget love. In every story there's a secret hiding, don't forget love. When you're taken and you could be given, when you're dying and you could be living, don't forget love. 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 When you're waking up with a frown and the world is bringing you down, don't forget love. Don't forget love. Don't forget love. Love will bring you back around. Put your feet right on the ground. Don't forget love. Don't forget love. Don't forget love. When the storm comes and the lights go out, don't forget love. When the rains give way to sunshine,
Good morning. Does anybody here know the difference between a spider web and a cobweb? Anybody? Share it if you think you do. Yeah. Cobwebs are full of dust and things you need to get rid of. That's right. Anything else? Yeah. Which are sticky? Are they both sticky or just spider web sticky? Spider webs are pretty sticky right now, right? Anything else anybody wants to add? I have a little bit of a, yeah. There's a spider in a spider web. That's exactly right. It seems obvious, but it's actually a major important difference. You can consider this, all cobwebs are spider webs, but not all spider webs are cobwebs. Spider webs are fresh, and they're active, and they're alive, and they're well cared for. They can be created in a day, they can be expanded upon and strengthened. They're a home. Cobwebs, on the other hand, are abandoned spider webs. They've been left to collect dust, neglected and forgotten. All of us are building webs, all the time. Every time we say, I love you, every time we offer care to a grieving friend, every time we bring muffins to someone who has no power. That happened to us. Every time we serve others in our community. And if we don't tend to those webs, string by string, connection by connection, they will collect dust, and they'll become distant echoes of a once active love and care. Our story for all ages this morning teaches us that we are bound together by love. But without care and nurturing and attention, we risk weakening the strings that connect us all. The Invisible Web, a story celebrating love and universal connection, written by Patrice Karst and illustrated by Joanne Lou Vriethoff. The very best news ever has begun to spread all over the world, one heart at a time. Shout it from the mountaintops. Every single one of us is connected to those we love by invisible strings. That means Giovanna and her daddy are always together, even though he moved to a new house. Omar can feel the tugs of love from his parents, even though he is living far away at school. Mr. Chang still feels Mrs. Chang close by, even though she died such a very long time ago. And you, at this very moment, may feel the string of someone close to you, even though they aren't there. You can't see it, but it's real. Our strings reach to everyone we know. They travel far and wide, to families and friends, classmates and coaches, to bus drivers and babysitters, neighbors and pets, to aunts and uncles and grandparents and grandchildren, and countless other people. And all of those people have hundreds of strings. Soaring high over rocky peaks and across the 7 seas, deep into jungles and valleys, and winding through the busiest of cities, all these strings crisscross one another and create a nest that covers the planet, interlacing us together, cradling us forever. The invisible web. The web has no borders and wraps every continent. Within it live butterflies and flowers, starfish and seahorses, lions and ants, rivers and snowstorms, and all human beings. Giovanna, Omar, Mr. Chang, and of course, you and me too. Some say it even reaches to our ancestors and those we cherish in the beyond. One tug on a string sends love to every one of us woven together in this divine tapestry. And that means Just one good deed travels across the entire web. Everything is linked. But sometimes folks forget. When they can't feel their strings, they forget about our invisible web. And that's when strings get tangled up. Like when lonely Louisa isn't invited to sit with anyone at her school at lunchtime. Or when sad Stefano wishes his friend Marcos wasn't so bossy when they played. Or when Mrs. Patel struggles at work without help and she just wants to quit. Even violence and war can erupt when too many of us forget the web. When strings are ignored, they can become weak and begin to unravel. But the more people who care for the web, the stronger it remains. The web feels like every parent since the beginning of time, holding and protecting each one of us in millions of gentle arms. What could be stronger than all those hands holding us close? So many supportive fingers can always find a way to untangle strings so that love can flow again. But it's up to every one of us to spread the word. Our time is right now. As we tell our family and friends, sisters will remind brothers, who will write to cousins, who will call their grandparents, who will just nod and smile as if they have always known. If we remember the web and tug at it often, nobody will ever be left out. We will see others more clearly. The people of the world will look into each other's eyes. They will smile at one another. And when one of them cries, they will all want to help. And they do. Marcos apologizes to Stefano, who forgives his friend, and they have even more fun playing. Someone helps Mrs. Patel at work and tells her what a great job she's doing. She remembers that she's important and feels happy. And Louisa feels warm and bubbly inside when a few of the kids in class ask her to join them under the banyan tree for lunch. She knows right then that the invisible web is real. After school, Louisa cries with joy as she strokes her cat, who purrs the news to the stars, and the stars whisper the secret to the clouds, who share it with the songbirds, who serenade the world with this exquisite melody of love at the start of each morning and all during the day. Until, as the invisible web glitters in the magic of twilight, the owls take over and hoot the news throughout the night. The invisible web is alive. Its time is right now. It breathes as we breathe, pulsating all over our earth, the single heartbeat of life and love. And do you know what that makes us all? One very big family. The end. Now is the time in our service when we sing our children to their programs. I invite all of our young people to follow their teachers out of the sanctuary as the congregation sings with love.
People are
I'm going to invite you to do something we don't typically invite you to do in the middle of a Sunday service, which is, if you have an electronic device with you, go ahead and take them out, keeping the ringers or sound off, if you could, please. This Sunday is a snapshot survey Sunday in which we invite your thoughts related to our Sunday service, our Sunday worship experience. It's a simple, straightforward, open-ended two-question survey. The first question of which invites you to share words of appreciation, things that you think are going well, that are meaningful to you. And the second question invites you to share words of feedback or constructive guidance to us. You can find the survey at uuaa.org/survey if you're filling it out electronically, which is our preferred method of participation in this, whether you're at home or here in the sanctuary with us this morning. It allows us, completing the survey electronically allows us to work with the data more readily. But if you're here in person and are in need of a paper survey and a pencil, the ushers have some, and if you raise your hands, they will come around and provide you with a paper form and a pencil if you're in need of that. The survey for our second service will remain open until the second service concludes. If you're filling out a paper survey, you can leave it in a basket as you depart the sanctuary. And we'll have a few minutes of instrumental music as we take some time now to share some feedback on our community's experience of our Sunday mornings. Thank you for participating in that survey. If you need a few extra minutes, you may continue with your responses. By the way, if on that second question you don't have any specific feedback or suggestions for us, please note that. We don't know how to always interpret a blank field or a field that has no responses. Again, we thank you for your participation in helping us build a vibrant Sunday morning experience.
There are many ways to be present to one another and this community. We give of our time and energy. We offer care and compassion. We teach and learn together. And through it all, we commit to a life guided by love. One more way that we affirm this commitment is through the spiritual practice of our offering. There are many ways to give. You can drop cash or checks in the collection baskets as they pass through the rows. For those that prefer a digital option, you can text UUAA to 73256, or you can go to uuaa.org/giving. I invite you to let the words and music of Simple by Katie Lang wash over you. All in love is ours. That love as a philosophy is simple. Love will not elude us. Love is simple. However you choose to give, thank you for your generosity. Today's offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Flawless light in a softening air, alone and shining there. Love will not elude you, love is simple. I worship this tenacity and the beautiful struggle we're in. Love will not elude us, love is simple. Be sure to know that all in love is ours. That love as a philosophy is simple. I am calm in oblivion, calm as I ever have been. Love will not elude me, love is simple. Be sure to know that all in love is ours, is ours. That all in love is ours. That love as a philosophy is simple. And
Will the ushers please come forward? As they do, I invite you to rise in body or spirit wherever you may be, and say with me the words of dedication. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings. Thank you.
Flawless light in darkening air, alone and shining there. Love will not elude you. Love is simple. Be sure to know that all in love is ours, that love as a philosophy is simple. It's not a complicated concept, love. One of the most natural of human inclinations. And yet, is it simple? It is, on one hand, isn't it? And on another hand, it might be one of the most complex things we human beings regularly have to navigate. I want to share with you the words of Takopa Turner in a book on the subject of belonging with the same title, Belonging. She talks about an experience that might ring similar in its energy, its vibration, its feeling for many of us. She writes, I remember a recurring scene at the dinner table when, as a teenager, after an episode of hurt, I would run upstairs to my room in tears, desperate for my mother to come after me and coax me back into belonging. But she never came. So instead, I would creep onto the stairs outside the kitchen, secretly listening as my family went on without me. We all have our version of the waiting stairs. At its heart is this feeling of being outside of belonging, the excruciating belief that you are not needed, that life does not consider you necessary. When nobody comes after you with the invitations, it confirms your worst fear and sends you pushing further into the province of exile. This experience that she describes as the waiting stairs, something known to all of us in our own ways, our own different ways, the yearning for love and yet feeling separated from it. So many experiences in life push us towards this: divorce, death, losses of all kinds, hurts, disappointments. Any of these kinds of experiences can push us towards separation, and in that isolation, which we know is a breeding ground for loneliness, resentment, and bitterness. And yet these types of experiences are part of what it means to be human. We all, every last one of us, experiences hurts and disappointments, losses and death. How do we restore ourselves? How do we restore our creative capacity for love, knowing that life brings hard experiences to us? How do we expand our emotional availability to be a caring person, even when we know we will experience disappointments and pain? Love is, on the one hand, so simple, so instinctive, so natural, and yet on the other hand, we experience things that push us away from it, that separate us from others. leading us to our own version of the waiting stairs. So I was navigating an experience that had some elements of this hurt, disappointment. And I was talking to one of my spiritual teachers about a month ago, and this guy is very no-nonsense. So as I was describing what I was feeling or navigating, just, "But you've read Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements, haven't you?" And I said, "Yes, a long time ago." He said, "Well, it's just time to reread it then," which I did promptly. So for those of you who are not familiar with it, this is a short book, and it's a spiritual masterpiece. It's over 25 years old now. I read it probably shortly after it came out and just reread it again. Don Miguel Ruiz is a Toltec elder, a Toltec wisdom keeper. For those who don't know, colonialism and Catholicism tried to fully eradicate the Toltec spirituality. And so what evolved wasn't purely oral tradition within family lineages, one elder teaching the next generation, what the core Toltec teachings and ceremonies and traditions were. And Don Miguel Ruiz is in one of those teaching lineages, one of those holders of ancient Toltec wisdom. The Four Agreements was his attempt to articulate some of the core teachings of his tradition, his spirituality. I'm going to share those four agreements with you today in our service. And the first two, not necessarily in the order Don Miguel presents them, the first two that I'm going to share have to do with narratives, stories, interpretations that keep us one from another. They divide us one from another, separating us, pushing us towards isolation. One of Don Miguel's Four Agreements exhorts us to not take things personally. Don't take things personally, he says. This is an exceptionally demanding and challenging teaching. Now think about why that it's so difficult. Each of us in our own life journey, we on a certain level experience our own life as if a movie is unfolding moment by moment, day by day. And guess what? We're the protagonist. We're the star of that movie, the hero, heroine, the lead role. And it's a glorious lead role with twists and turns and all kinds of adventures. Now, if I was to say, how many of us consider ourselves in that starring role to be the villain of the movie? Who thinks they're the villain of the movie? Nobody does. Most people don't. We know there are some human beings who behave in innately and intentionally harmful ways. But the vast majority of humans, that's not what we're doing. We see ourselves as the heroine, protagonist of this unfolding experience, journey, exploration of what it means to be human, of life. And insofar as we view ourselves that way, we believe deeply about ourselves that moment by moment, as we're needing to make decisions, ethical, moral, life, major choices, we're doing the best that we can with the skills that we've got, the grounding that we've got, the wisdom that we've got, moment by moment, the absolute best that we are able to. This is what we believe about ourselves. Now, the moment there's a disappointment, there's a misunderstanding, something goes wrong, the villain appears. It's never us. It's always other people. They're the villains that appear in the plot line, in the story. We remain the hero, heroine, protagonist, doing the absolute best that we can, but we assign the role to a villain to others. Now you've just witnessed that most people with a good heart, trying their best, don't view themselves as the villain. They too are also trying to do the best that they can do, moment by moment, decision by decision. So there's actually a disconnect there when we ascribe the role of villain to others, when they are just trying to live their life as best as they can with the skills that they've got, the wisdom and experience that they've got, the understandings that they've got, moment by moment. So Don Miguel Ruiz in this first teaching, don't take things personally. He's inviting us to be as generous with others as we are with ourselves. What if the choice, the decision, the thing the person said, the thing that they did, what if it's about them and not about you or me? What if it says more about who they are and what they need to learn, grow, understand what's happening in their life journey than it does about any of us who may be the experiencers of what somebody says, does, or does? Don't take things personally, Don Miguel Ruiz says, because we lose perspective when we do that. We forget that most good-hearted people are trying their best day by day, moment by moment. And when we get caught up in the offense, I am offended. I knew you didn't care about me. We may not say these things out loud. We'll think them, though, on those metaphoric waiting stares. I knew you didn't care about me. I knew you didn't respect me. I knew you didn't love me. I knew I wasn't important to you. You just proved it to me. And we get caught up in that thinking, and what it does is it pushes us further and further away from connection. It does nothing to support connection, create healing, or create renewed or deeper understanding. It pushes us further away. Taking things personally allows us to get caught up in a narrative, in a story, in an interpretation of hurt that harms relationship. Now, in a similar way, in one of the other agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz invites us not to make assumptions at all. This is another very challenging teaching. We think we understand others, and in particularly, the longer a relationship, a friendship, a marriage exists, the longer the duration of the relationship, the more likely we are to jump to assumptions, to interpretations. Well, I know this person so well. I know my best friend, I know my spouse, I know my sibling. When they behave this way, this is what they mean by it. Of course I know that. Any marriage counselor will tell you that this is a source of tremendous problems in long-term relationships, in long-term marriages. And one of the first things they do is get married couples to stop interpreting what their spouse is saying or doing and actually ask for clarification. You did X. Here's how I'm experiencing or relating to X. Is that what you meant for me to experience? Because that's what I'm feeling right now. Oh, you didn't. You thought you were conveying this other thing to me. Well, that I can work with. I'm less offended. I feel less hurt with this other thing that you thought you were doing. And by the way, can you hold the fact that I felt it in a different way or I experienced it in a different way? That's how, in marriage therapy, couples begin to break down automatic interpretations. Assumptions push us apart. So first, in long-term relationships, we jump to thinking we know what somebody who we've been in long-term relationship actually means, rather than getting curious and asking curious questions. But guess what? In a shorter term or newer relationship, we need to also ask curious questions simply because we don't know the other person well enough to be making any useful assumptions or interpretations. So it's almost irrespective of how long you've known the person, getting curious builds relationship. Walking away with interpretations can push you apart. Both of these teachings invite us to examine and break down narratives, stories, and interpretations that don't serve relationship, that don't enhance relationship, And by doing that, by focusing or building our capacity to not take things personally and not make assumptions, we can expand our own inner capacity to love more deeply.
Seems like yesterday I was on my own. I was lost and wondering which way to go. Then you came and changed my heart. You helped me see the beautiful I couldn't find inside of me. One look and you set me free. I held on to the darkness and regrets. Now I watch them disappear. I'm done with all the heartache and mistakes, letting go of all my fears. What was I hiding from? Thought I was the only one. Got the sunshine, I'm alright, knowing love has got me here. Everybody got a story that needs to be told. It's hard to go against the wind and stand on your own. If you just believe in that fire within, the beautiful inside of you will rise in the end. Trust me, I've stood where you stand. I held on to the darkness and regrets. Now I watch them disappear. I'm done with all the heartaches and mistakes, letting go of all my fears. What was I hiding from? Thought I was the only one. Got the sunshine, I'm alright, knowing love has got me here. I'll never go back to the way I used to be. I held on to the darkness and regrets. Now I watch them disappear. I'm done with all the heartache and mistakes, letting go of all my fear. What was I hiding from? I thought I was the only one. Sunshine, alright, knowing love has got me here. Sunshine, alright. Sunshine, alright. I know that love has got me here.
So beautiful. Thank you, McCleskey family. The lyrics of Kyshona Armstrong held on to the darkness and regrets. Now I watch them disappear, done with all the heartache and mistakes, letting go of all my fears. What was I hiding from? Thought I was the only one. Got the sunshine and I'm all right, knowing love has got me here. Love does have us here, doesn't it? We know it's the deeper and truer calling inside each of us. Not the fear, not the separation that pushes us away one from another, but this deeper yearning that is absolutely instinctive inside each and every one of us. We saw with the previous two agreements that Don Miguel Ruiz offers how stories, narratives, and interpretations push us apart one from another. His final two agreements are about community-mindedness, and I'll say more about that in just a few moments. I want to circle back to the gorgeous Time for All Ages that Stella Anderson shared with us. Now, whether that author is aware or not aware, conscious or not conscious of this, the imagery and theology, the teaching of that children's story is heavily resonant with Lakota spirituality, in particular, a piece of it related to a divine figure in Lakota sacred stories called Iktomi. Iktomi is a spider-like divinity. And Iktomi is known for Iktomi's web. Iktomi spins and spins and spins in circles, weaving an enormous web that encompasses literally everything that exists in creation. All of creation interconnected, interrelated, interdependent, touched by the threads and the tendrils of this web that are invisible but nonetheless real. In this indigenous mindset and understanding, the level of interconnectedness is that profound, that deep. So much so that it is said that any energy that is put out onto that web, the invisible tendrils that touch all of creation, any energy at all is felt through the entire web. It reverberates. And so our deepest calling should always be to infuse that web with our love, our compassion, and our caring. Here's the beautiful thing. Sacred story, myth, whatever language we want to use, contemporary science starts to intersect with long ancient understandings, things that we call scientifically dark energy and dark matter, weaving fabrics of invisible connection between everything that exists. This is what we are learning about the truth of ultimate reality from quantum mechanics, not that different from ancient sacred stories that spoke about the very same thing. And so, one of Don Miguel's other agreements is to be impeccable with our word. These are two agreements that are about community-mindedness. And being impeccable with our word, yes, of course, keeping our promises, our vows, as best as we can, moment by moment. Most of us try to do that. Most of us genuinely try to do that. But this teaching of being impeccable with our word, and impeccable, what an excellent, excellent descriptive word there. To be impeccable. And it's with the understanding that it's what we're talking about is more than just promises or vows. We all know that words can have the same force as a physical punch to the gut. We've personally experienced it. We know that to be true. And so, we must understand that our words are actions that carry an energetic force behind them. And with that, with understanding our words as impactful, that they matter just as much as our deeds, to be impeccable with everything we say. the energy that we put out onto the web, the energy we put out into the universe, to bring that level of diligence and intentionality to that. Now, this teaching forced me to do a little bit of personal reflection, because I will often say from the pulpit, when it comes to certain types of words, I'm pretty flexible. I'm not really interested in debates about what does the word worship mean or not mean, or sin or grace, or any of these other kinds of theological or potentially theological words. I model flexibility, and I encourage that in community. There are many ways to understand some words, and the difference there is that we bring a generous sense of flexibility so that we're not driving people apart. We're not driving ourselves apart from one another in community. It's exactly the same teaching as understanding the energy behind an intention or behind what we're trying to do. The twist with this next teaching is that we must understand that our words are actions that are as impactful as any physical action we might undertake. What is the energy? Are we driving others away from us, or are we pulling people together? This is the essence of community-mindedness. I was at a memorial service. I helped lead a memorial service yesterday for one of our long-term members. I didn't know that this beloved of ours was a leader in our local Ann Arbor Rotary Club. I knew nothing about Rotary Club until yesterday. And another Rotarian shared some of the core teachings of Rotary Club. These are really beautiful. I have to share them with you. They actually review this every time they get together as a Rotary community. They affirm that their actions and their words are guided by the considerations: is it kind to say or do this? Is it fair to say and do this? Will it build goodwill if I say or do this? Is it beneficial to all concerned if I say or do the particular thing I'm thinking of saying or doing? These are gorgeous, gorgeous teachings about how we can be together in a broader sense of humanity, how we can show up for one another with that love and caring and compassion being the forefront of what's leading. The fourth and last teaching offered in the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz is always do your best. Not in the sense of perfectionism, but always do your best with regards to these other three teachings that he offers. They are a commitment that we return to as we Unitarian Universalists sing in our hymnody. Return again, return again. When we fall short, we return again to our core commitments, our core understandings of what it means to be human, of what it means to be in community. And what Don Miguel Ruiz says is we return again and again and again to what we know to be right, to what we know to be good, to what we know will further connection and relationship without any expectation at all of personal reward, of personal benefit, of applause or praise from others, or of any specific desired outcome that we're wishing for. Those are not the reasons why we do what is right or what is good. We do what is right or what is good because it is intrinsically worthy of doing. And when we live into that calling, we're able to look at our own life and see ourselves as a good human being. Look at that. That was a really complicated situation I just navigated. I was able to show up as love and compassion. I listened really well. I was a bridge builder in that situation. I helped some people who needed a little bit of help in bridging a misunderstanding. I was able to support them or help them in that. You're able to witness your own goodness. And as we get more present to that, as we practice witnessing that in ourselves, it expands our capacity to notice that in other people. You're able to be out in a situation, overhear a conversation, maybe in our social hall or elsewhere, and you'll think, oh, that was such a kind and gentle word those folks offered to one another. Wasn't that beautiful? Oh, look at that. the power was out and somebody helped somebody else in the middle of all this, gave them a ride, offered them overnight accommodation. Look at that goodness that was out there in the world. When we move in these ways, practicing that goodness and showing up in a good, healthy, right way ourselves, and start noticing it in others, it is a source of joy and meaning that is worthy in and of itself. We don't need any external validation. What we're able to see and appreciate is that we're living our own life in a good and meaningful way, and so are others. Others are trying to do exactly that same thing too, and it is beautiful and it is good. This commitment to love, I want to bring it to us Unitarian Universalists for just a second. One of my colleagues, Reverend Dan Schatz, took our gray hymnal. You know how thick that thing is for those of us here in person. It's a pretty thick book. They took the entire contents of our gray hymnal and put it in a word cloud. And the word cloud that was generated, it's just going to come up on the screens now. Look at the central word there. This is who we Unitarian Universalists are. This is the word that we sing most commonly to one another when we are gathered on Sunday mornings. The most natural and instinctive of human expressions, part of the fabric of our community, part of why we exist and why we are here, and what we sing in song to one another. When we are committed to moving and living in these ways, there is no spiritual exhaustion. We are not tired. We are not without energy, because these teachings, these ways of being are restorative. They fill us up with beauty and with appreciation for our own life. And as we notice that in ourselves, we notice it in others, and we develop a sense of, other human beings are reliable, they are trustworthy, they are good. They too are trying to show up in a caring and compassionate way. I'm not in this alone. I have other human beings I can rely on, that I can lean on. It's in that spirit. I invite us to continue holding this call to love. It is the deepest prayer, the deepest hope that any of us could be ever holding in our lives, our truest and best nature. We bring it alive together with one another, leaning on one another. I invite you to turn to hymn 1021 in your hymnals and let us sing it in song. Rise in body or spirit as you're comfortably able.
We all have
moments, take just a moment, look around this sanctuary, wave a little hello, send your love energetically across to the other folks here this morning, and then to those cameras, all the folks joining us by live stream, you're in our hearts, you're with us in spirit as well. Go forth into this new week, tapped into, grounded in that deeper calling, that deeper yearning, which is our best sense of humanity, that sense of love and caring and compassion. May your words, deeds, actions, your very being, bring all of that alive in the days ahead. Go forth knowing that you are cheered on and supported in that calling by all who are gathered here until we can be together again. Amen.